Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Psalms. Today we are in Psalm 37. Now, in our last video, we went through and read the entire psalm, all 40 verses of it. And we talked about the fact that because of some of the things that are found in this psalm, this seems to be one that was written by David when he was older in age. Many of them that we've looked at thus far seem to have been written in his younger days. This one is not one of those, and it is much more reflective on life, on the relationships between the wicked and the righteous, and of the way that God watches over the righteous in the times and in the midst of the wicked. And so let's look today at some lessons from Psalm 37. And there's a ton of things that we could spend time talking about. So I've pulled out three that I want us to spend just a couple of minutes examining today. The first one is found in verse 11, where there David writes, "But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." Now, the statement in the first half of the verse may sound a bit familiar to you. That's because Jesus uses it in the Beatitudes in Matthew chapter 5, verse 5, that the meek shall inherit the earth. Now, Jesus uses these Beatitudes as a number of one-off statements, but unbeknownst to many, he was actually quoting and saying this Psalm 37, verse 11. The meek shall inherit the earth. The idea of meekness is one who is humble. You're talking about one who is circumspect. And so David says, and it's in the context going back to verse 10 of, "For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more. Indeed, you will look carefully for his place, but it shall be no more." That the wicked are going to meet their end. And when they do, the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Now, oftentimes it is discussed in this particular idea that there's always wickedness and that there's always evil in the world, and that's true. But there's a difference between there always being people who are wicked in the world and always having people that are wicked that are in our influence and in our area around us where they are impacting our lives. And that's what David is talking about here. He's talking about the fact that when the wicked are gone, the meek, the humble, the ones who are doing what is right and who have the right attitude about it, are the ones that are still going to be there. And so that's the principle that is being applied. "And they shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace," because peace is ultimately what they desire. And so, as you look at this statement, it reminds us of what Jesus said in the Beatitudes, but it also gives us a little bit more of a picture even than what Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount. The second thing I want us to notice today comes from verses 23 and following, where there David says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he fall down, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. I have been young, and now am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his descendants begging bread." David says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Now, there are a lot of things that people classify as being a good man in our day and time and in our world today. For some, a good man is simply one who doesn't lie, cheat, or steal. For others, a good man is simply someone who doesn't cross their path and do something wrong. For others, a good man is simply one that I like. But here, David says that a good man has a certain lifestyle to him. That a good man is one whose steps are ordered by the Lord. In other words, God directs his steps. God is the one who is the focus of where he goes and what he does. And he delights in his way. He delights in the way of God. He is not one who is going out doing his own thing and following his own path. He is seeking to follow God. But here's the thing that I find the most interesting in this particular statement. Because in verse 24 he says, though he fall down, he shall not be utterly cast down. Even the man whose steps are ordered by the Lord is going to fall down from time to time. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to fail. He is going to do the wrong thing in a particular occasion. The question is, what happens next? The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and though he falls down, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his right hand. In other words, the Lord will help pick him back up again, because he's trying to do what's right. The steps of a good man are going to walk in the way of God. He's not going to be perfect. Nobody is. He's going to fail from time to time. He's going to fall down. But the Lord will be there for him when he does, and will help to lift him back up again. And then the statement in verse 25, I've been young and now am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his descendants begging bread. The one who seeks the way of God, God will take care of him. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to have an abundance so great that it surpasses everybody else, or that he won't ever have problems in his life or any of those things. But God will be with him. And when a man's steps are ordered by the Lord, his choices become so much easier in many different facets of life. And God will remain with him in all he does. The third thing that I want us to notice is the statement of David in verse 35. He says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a native green tree, yet he passed away, and behold, he was no more. Indeed, I sought him, but he could not be found. When we see the wicked, you know what we see? We see the wicked come. They gain power, they burgeon with power for a while, they get stronger and spread themselves, as David says, like a native green tree, and then they're gone. They pass away and are no more. You see, the wicked come and they go. And it's because of their wickedness that they come and they go, because their actions are unsupportable, they're unsustainable. The wickedness and the evil will always meet an end. It may not be as quick as we would like. It may not be in the manner that we would like. But it always reaches an end. It always is overcome by right and by good. And so because of that, it passes away and is no more. And David says, even when I sought for him, even when I sought for this one who was wicked, who had gained such things and now is gone, when I sought him, he could not be found. There are so many examples we could utilize of this particular principle, but we don't have the time to delve into those in detail today. But suffice it to say that as you look through history, there have been many wicked and evil rulers that have risen to power in various places, some large, some small, some small places, some large countries. But inevitably one thing happens to them all. They fall. And so here we see David recognizing that particular fact in his statements in Psalm 37. As I said before, there are a lot of things that we could talk about from this particular chapter, and these are some of the things that stood out to me in the midst of all that I wanted us to see today, and I hope that they've been beneficial to you. Next time we'll come back, and we'll begin examining Psalm 38. I hope you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.